Hello and welcome to the Media Club podcast. So today we'll be discussing our thoughts on 9/11. Before we begin with today's topic, we're going to introduce our speakers by mentioning our name, grade, school, and answering the question, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? So I'll start. My name is Inso. I'm a senior at Valencia High School, and my favorite ice cream flavor is mint without the chocolate chips. Yuna.
My name is Yuna, and I'm a sophomore at Yorba Linda High School, and my favorite ice cream is coffee chocolate chip.
Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm a senior at Sunny Hills High School, and my favorite ice cream flavor is also just some type of coffee flavor.
Chunsan.
Hello, my name is Jason Ho, and I'm a sophomore at Yorba Linda High School. My favorite ice cream flavors is cookies and cream. Kyle?
Hi, my name is Kyle Min. I am a senior at Los Alamitos High School, and my favorite ice cream is coffee.
Rachel.
My name is Rachel, and I'm an 8th grader attending Sierra Vista Middle School. My favorite ice cream flavor is vanilla.
And Joseph.
Hi, I'm Joseph. I'm your co-host. I am a sophomore. I go to Cypress High School, and my favorite ice cream flavor is chocolate almond.
Okay, Nathan Kang.
Hi, my name is Nathan Kang. I'm a senior at Diamond Bar High School, and my favorite ice cream flavor is chocolate.
Nathan Park.
My name's Nathan. I'm a junior at Troy High School, and my favorite ice cream flavor is cookies and cream.
And then Jamie.
Hi, my name is Jamie Lee. I go to Troy High School, and I'm currently a junior there. And my favorite ice cream flavor is matcha.
Okay, so the first question is, what do you guys know about what happened during 9/11? And can anyone explain this briefly?
So 9/11 was a event in which 4 planes were hijacked by a terrorist organization known as Al-Qaeda. And these planes were targeted towards specific areas of the United States, 2 of which crashed into the Twin Tower, killing over 2,000 people. One landed into the Pentagon, killing nearly 200 people. And the last one crashed right before landing into the White House. So most people would consider this as the darkest day in American history.
So the second question is, do you know anyone in your family or like anyone that you just know in general that was directly affected in any way by 9/11?
I know my friend's parents. They were supposed to come to America the day that 9/11 happened. And as they were like boarding, the 9/11 incident happened. So all the planes got delayed, I guess, and then it got canceled like completely. So my friend's parents couldn't come to America, and they were pregnant with my friend's brother. And yeah, my friend's brother had to be born in Korea because of it.
That one's interesting. So when you guys are at school, does like your school set aside time to discuss 9/11, or like do you guys like learn a lot about it in your history class?
It's been a while since I actually learned about 9/11 like in full extensiveness. It was in 6th grade when like we really learned about it in English class. My teacher showed us a clip of the news. It showed like video footage of the plane landing into the Twin Tower, and you could see like fire and smoke spreading out, and that kind of shakes me to my core.
Does anyone else have any thoughts?
My school is a bit different this year. This year, I think like a different class set up like a memorial outside, like in front of my school, for 9/11. And like yesterday, our English teacher like brought us out to the memorial, and then they taught us about like what happened like exactly in 9/11.
For my school, yesterday, for like at exactly 8:46 a.m., they like made an announcement and we had like a 20-second time where we like were just quiet for like the 20th anniversary. And for my history class, we had like a project about it and we kind of learned about everyone who was on that plane and we researched one person on it.
Okay, do you think that discussions around 9/11 are warranted, and then why or why not?
Definitely, I think it's like warranted, and I think it's really needed. I think like 9/11 was like a really tragic moment in American history, and I think like especially our generation who weren't alive when 9/11 happened, I think it's important to for our generation to know what happened. And so yeah, on that note, um, does anyone else like have any ideas as to how we can help students know what happened in 9/11?
Honestly, my school this year really didn't do anything. We had like an assembly, but it wasn't even like announced in the morning, so nobody really knew what was going on while the assembly was going on. So I think that schools can definitely have like a period, take the period off of the students' day to just educate the students about what happened. Because honestly, like I don't think any students at our school like genuinely know like thoroughly what went on because of the lack of education that we got about it. Like the last time I actually learned about it was in like fourth grade, fifth grade. And during that time, like teachers really couldn't go deeply into the subject because of how young we were. And most of us like forgot what happened. So I think we can definitely take a period of our time to just learn about it thoroughly.
Yeah, I agree with Jamie because like my school, we like literally like did nothing about it. Like, yeah, yesterday like wasn't 9/11, it was like 9/10. But like we had an assembly and then it was like not even mentioned once. Like everyone was just like focused on other things. And I was like kind of disappointed because I thought like it would at least be mentioned in the announcements or something. And there was like actually nothing about it. So yeah. How do you guys think that the policies of the US and like other countries' governments have changed since like 9/11 or just like flying in general? Like how do you think that's changed?
I know that like there's definitely a lot more like airport security and things like that. And so like I think countries are a lot more careful about like terrorists and terrorist attacks, but also like it also like changed history because the US like got heavily involved in Afghanistan and in the Middle East. And that led to like a 20-year conflict where we were just in Afghanistan and there were like a lot of soldiers there. And so not only did that like affect like long-term history, that has like other implications for like even everyday people. Now we need to go through like airport security and things like that. And so it just made governments a lot more aware about terrorist threats and careful.
Yeah. Nathan, Rachel, do you guys have any ideas on the topic?
Yeah, everything got much more strict and secure after the 9/11 attack. I've heard that they won't even let you bring food onto the planes anymore or any tinfoil because it was easy to hide with that. I guess for a culture change, most people just became much more aware of airplanes and the threat they pose.
I agree. A lot of TSA rules became stricter, and not only did like US policies changed, we are a lot more educated now, and we are aware of these things happen in the world. So not only are the airport security are more stricter, we're also stricter about what we bring on the plane too.
Why do you think it's so important to understand how 9/11 affected the US or like not just the US, other nations too? So why do you think it's important to understand that?
I think it's really important because 9/11 is probably the one event that affected like modern politics and modern, I don't really want to say like warfare, but kind of like how battles are fought in like the modern world because I don't know, a lot of military and country resources rather than being used to fight against like other countries or like legitimate wars, it's more just like vague fighting against certain groups. which probably all kind of derived from 9/11.
In addition to what Ryan said about like modern warfare, I think 9/11 was like the first attack that terrorist groups used like commercial airplanes to attack the United States.
It also like established racism. It doesn't justify it, but people began having a more negative view against Middle Eastern citizens because of the event. They established a stereotype that they're like terrorists. Going back to like the airport policies, like I heard that the securities are kind of like educated, or like it is implied that they have to be more stricter on like people wearing Middle Eastern clothing or who look Middle Eastern. So yeah.
Moving on from that, why do you think family members of those lost on 9/11 participate in memorial events, including reading the names of the deceased?
They do want to be spreading awareness of what happened on 9/11, especially because a lot of schools don't discuss this topic of what happened on this day, and meaning that our future generation might lose this important date untracked. So I think they just want to make sure people remember, like, these people died and these people are the heroes of this day and what happened.
I also think like a big part of why like these families commemorate like the people who died is because they were like civilians. And so a lot of these people, for example, if someone dies in a war, to a certain extent, the families are prepared to not have their loved ones come back home, right? Because as a soldier or as someone fighting in a war, there is a risk of that person dying, and the families are aware of that. But for 9/11, it was just like a normal day, nothing huge going on, right? And so these families didn't expect it. And because they were just like normal civilians, it hit them like a lot harder, I think.
Yeah. So since today is 9/11, have you guys seen any news coverage commemorating the 20th anniversary? And if you have, then like what topics or images have been shared?
I actually saw it on like a social media as like the front page of Twitter. And it showed like the man who decided to just fall down from their floor because it was too hot for them. So they thought that like falling down from the building would be better than just being burnt alive. So I saw that, and I kind of see that image every year because it's just like a shocking photo, and it hits me every time because like how painful would the heat be in the building for a person to decide that they would just fall off like a high building.
Yeah, I know you're saying, like, in my history class, I think like in 8th grade or something, we watched a video and you could like see the people like jumping and stuff. And I like that image resonated with me. So I agree with what you're saying. Do you guys have any questions about that day and what happened next, or like how like I guess like the scene of our country changed after that?
I think there's like a big question as how we would have handled it. Like if this attack would have happened again, or if we were going back in time, and if this terrorist attack did happen, I think there would be questions as to like how we could better handle the situation, especially because this situation was like very messy and it led to a lot of other bad things, particularly like a conflict in Afghanistan and in the Middle East, and it destabilized that region a lot. And so going forward, I'm wondering like how this situation could have been better dealt with, not only back home but also like in the international sense.
Junsun, do you have any thoughts or questions?
I believe that we would be able to do is, I guess, like what he said, there's a lot of conflicts that still occur because of the previous events. And I believe that if we were in the past before this event happened, maybe if we were more prepared or if we had more security at least, something like this wouldn't happen. Since we cannot change the past, maybe we can focus on today where we do work in order to have better security and make amends with countries that we do not.
I think That's a good point. Have you guys ever been to a memorial, the one that's on the East Coast? What were like your emotions like? Just like because like there's like a wall of there's like a bunch of names written there, right? So like how did you guys feel seeing like all of those names?
I went there when I went to New York last year, like 2 years ago, and it had a very solemn mood. Like it wasn't like, oh, like everyone was silent, but like the mood in just that area was very like not sad, but like a lot. I could feel people like paying respect to the ones who passed during the event, and seeing the names like engraved on the stones, like, and there's like a waterfall in the middle. Really like, I don't know, made me feel like a type of, made me really sad, even though I don't really know the people who passed, because nobody would have expected, like no one who passed that day would have expected them to like die that day, because it was just a normal day. You know, like now 9/11 has the significance, but normally like 9/11 was just September 11th, the day you go to work. And like the families, I actually saw some families like paying respect to like the family member who died during the event. And it was just really sad because we actually talked to them and they sounded so normal and they were like educating us about what happened. But I could see that they were hurting inside as they were like speaking to us. So yeah.
I agree with Jamie. Like once you see like all the names written down, like carved in, it really made me realize like how many people really like passed in that event. It made me realize like how big it actually really was like in person.
I agree. Like seeing all the names, like because like we weren't alive then, so it kind of made the event real. I guess like I know it was real. It just made me realize like the magnitude of it.
Yeah, so with that being said, thank you for listening to this podcast. Of course, this was kind of a sadder podcast. I hope you don't mind, as this subject is really important to learn about and also to commemorate the deaths of everyone who died in the 9/11 attacks. But yeah, thank you for listening. Please join us again next month and we'll have another podcast up. Thank you.